All right, Scott, if you don't hit a little robot, recording's in progress. So let's just get right into this
Let's
and
do it.
start talking about Jurassic World Camp Cretaceous. First question I want to ask is I want to take it all the way back. What was your first experience with the Jurassic World, like Jurassic Park? Like whether it was when you were, way younger. Um, I don't want to compare our ages.
Yeah, yeah,
But
that wouldn't go too well for me, Joe. No, it's funny because I talked to a lot of our crew about when they were children and saw it. It's like I wasn't a kid, but I remember it. I remember me and my buddy going to see it in the theater and just being blown away and then sneaking into it was showing also in the theater opposite the aisle, the walkway. So we actually finished the movie and snuck across the way and got there just in time for the T-Rex to be breaking out again out of the enclosure. And it was like, and we just watch it. If they would have been running a third time, we probably would have tried to sneak in there. So, it had made a really big impact on me.
So once you had gotten involved with Camp Cretaceous, was that the memory that came back to you? Like, was that what you initially thought of, or did you have a different idea that sparked in your mind of where you wanted to go with it?
No, I gotta say, and look, I love what Colin has done with the Jurassic World trilogy, and at that point when I got involved, just Jurassic World had been it, and it was great. But yeah, if I'm being honest, everything kind of always goes back to Jurassic Park. Also, I was a huge fan of the book too, so that's definitely when we got going on this. It definitely harkened back to that.
Right. So then I have seen, several episodes of the new season. I don't want to give any spoilers.
Okay.
But I do want to ask you, I noticed that there's a very I guess this goes beyond the new season, but I know I like how much diversity is in the show. I was curious, from your position, you're a co-producer and a showrunner, correct?
Executive producer and showrunner. Yeah.
Yeah, I was curious
Yeah.
if you had any hand in that, or like, was that a writer's table decision? How did that go about as far as bringing in the diversity of Sammy, putting together, Darius, um, Kenji, having all these characters that really bring together a full and rounded out cast.
Yeah, I mean that's how. I mean when Zach Stentz was first developing the show with DreamWorks, and then when I came on, that was pretty much in place. But it's exactly how I would have done it too. We want the people watching the show. If you're doing it right, you want everyone to be watching the show to see a little of themselves in these characters.
Right.
And that's not just gender or race or what it be. Just you're trying to create characters to root for. I mean, the dinosaurs are going to be there, but if your audience isn't rooting for these characters, none of that really matters, because if you're not going to be invested. So yeah, I mean, our cast, our characters, are a small representative of the world, and everybody watching it should be able to hopefully latch on to, something inside all these characters and give them something to relate to.
So how long do you think that these kids would be able to sort of, continue to stay on this island? Do you feel like this is something that, um, you know, I guess would, without, spoilers of the future as regarding seasons, I just mean in general with the arc that these kids are going through, what would you expect for them as far as staying on the island or moving into a different location?
Well, I mean, these kids have, if you think back to season one, uh, with Ben with his hand sanitizer, and and Kenji wanting more hair product, these kids have come a long way. They're pretty capable at this point. So, from everything we've seen, they've been able to deal with, most everything that's been thrown at them. This is our final season. We're closing this chapter on them. But as far as what they would be capable about doing in the future, well, I don't know. They're pretty capable kids, so I think they could, they'd at least give it a shot.
Right. And I really like how Darius kind of steps up in this. Do you guys sit before this, like each season, and talk about the arc for every character and how you want that to play out throughout the season, or do you write out the season and then kind of fill in the character arcs as you go?
No, we start with the characters every season. We start with the characters every episode when we're breaking that. It begins and ends with the characters. So at the beginning of the season, it's like, where haven't we taken them before? Where do we think it would be cool to take? Things change and shift as you're going, but it starts with what we want to, these poor kids, what we want to put them through and where we want to see them go and evolve. And then after we get that, then we sort of, figure out, okay, well, what's the overall, plot arc of the season.
Yeah. So I really like the way that you explain that, because it answered my question and then some. When it comes to the overall plot of the season, then how often do you guys usually change that from the first draft to the final, what comes to the screen? How often do you change it, and how radically does that change from the table to the screen?
Well, I mean, I think, we have to have an idea of where we're going if we want to build to that. So, but, one of the things I love about doing animation is it's such a collaborative medium. So, we break a story in the writer's room, and then that writer will go and write an outline or a draft, and bring their own special sauce to that, and then we do it. And it's like the outline is like a blueprint for the script, and then the script is a blueprint for the animatic, because then when you get our artists and our directors involved, and they'll find moments, or perhaps like, maybe it'll be better if it goes this direction specifically, or we play this different. And then when we get into the animation and that team, you know what I mean? It's like,
Right.
The more ownership everybody takes over this, just the richer it is. So, things have changed within episodes, probably more radically, but we need to have a general idea of where we're ending a season so we can feel like we're building to the climax of the season.
Right. So I'm sorry. Give me one second. Okay, so I wanted to ask, you are in animation now. Obviously, you had just said that Jurassic is ending. It's the final season. But you started off, when I was doing research on you, you started with Nickelodeon Awards, and then you ended up, moving into animation, and it was like 4 animation shows in a row, Kung Fu Panda. You did a couple more, and now you're on Jurassic World. Are you hoping to continue to work with DreamWorks? Are you hoping to move out of animation? What is your plan going forward?
Oh, well, actually, I was in animation, and then actually the president of DreamWorks, Margie Cohn, was at Nickelodeon at the time, and then asked me, well, they didn't ask me, but I was invited to then work on the Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Awards after I've been doing it. Yeah, I love, I love animation. I love the collaboration involved with it. I like working with people who can do all this stuff that I have no idea how to do. One of which is just being to draw. And it was fun. I started my career actually back at DreamWorks a long time ago, working on a show called Toonsylvania. So to be able to come back here so many years later, it's been a great experience. So yeah, I've been asked about that before, or live action or anything. It's like, I love what I do. I really, really am one of those lucky people who does. So, I've got no plans to make any changes in the near future.
Well, when it comes to dinosaurs, and to swing back really quick to Jurassic World, which dinosaur do you enjoy? Have you enjoyed playing with the most throughout the show? And which dinosaur would you be interested in focusing on in a potential future show?
Well, I will say, when I first started the show, like so many little boys, like the T-Rex was the beginning and the end of it for me. And then as we've gotten going, having seen her growing up, having seen her hatched, Bumpy is a special dinosaur to me. And so, seeing her grow up, the Bumpy, it's hard not to focus on her, because I feel like we know her the best, and she's sort of our seventh camper.
That's a good way to put it. I like that. So before I wrap, I just wanted to make sure you have a chance. Is there anything that people don't ask you that you would like to say as we end?
No, it's just thanks for watching. Thanks for embracing the show, and the people who are watching the show are as much a part of it as those of us who are working hard to make it. So just so thanks for watching and enjoying it.
Okay, well, that was perfect. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I had a great time. I know you're gonna have to speak with somebody else next. I hope they're at least half as charismatic as me.
Well, look, that is the hope and the dream. So we'll see. Right. We'll see. I'll let you know how it goes.
All right, brother. I'm sure we'll talk for your next project.
That sounds great, man. Always a pleasure, and thanks again.
Of course. Stay safe.